Hello children. Hope you all have got your new textbook. Yes, this is your new textbook. So few might have not got also. So come and collect it in the office. Okay. You all know next week will be your FA1 test. So let us revise now. So first chapter from history and civics, that is political life, human diversity. So these two chapters will be there for FA1 test, as I told you, and worksheet, classwork and textbook, all you are going to study. So open page number 1, history. We'll just revise. So what is history now? So when, where and how, chapter name. What is history? History is the study of the past. History means what? The past. So it is the story of mankind and man's adventures on earth. True story. It is not a fairy tales. It is a true story of man's adventure on earth. So no one knows exactly when it began, isn't it? So till today, so research is going on about the past. So the word history is derived from the Greek word that is historia. So the word history is derived from the Greek word historia, which means a narrative of past events. A narrative of past events. So the people who study history are known as historians. You all know, right? So underline the line. See, read the textbook. I may give fill in the blank from textbooks also. So people who study history are called historians. People who study history are called historians. Fine. And also history, last year we studied about the battles, about how we got independence, about the rulers, about the Guptas and all, isn't it? So kingdom. So this year we'll be studying about the prehistory also. So prehistory means where there are no written records. Yes, when the human evolution started, so they didn't know to read and write. Isn't so? So at that time, how they survived the life. So what were the things they used for their life? Yes, these things come under the prehistory. So history means the written record. History means written records. Fine. So prehistory means the study of history where there is no written records. No written records. So the study of human history before writing developed is known as prehistory. So before writing, the sense how they communicated, so how they survived their life, so the objects what they used, weapons, so these things and all. So the archaeologist means the who excavate the archaeological sites. So that is the remains of humans and animals life. Yes. So the study of the past based on its physical remains is called as archaeology, and the prehistory is mainly based on the archaeological remains. Fine. So what weapons they use, like for cooking, what they did, and for communicating purpose, what language they used. Yes, these things will come under the prehistory. And also through what they communicated. So they communicated before writing was invented. So they communicated through sign language and also through drawings. So drawings means they did paintings on the caves. Yes, on the caves, rocks. So what kind of dress they wore or what weapons they used for hunting. So these kind of drawings they used to draw on the caves. So that where those drawings will tell the history. So history of that era. So for example, in page number 2, here you can see the Bhimbetka case that is in Madhya Pradesh. So here, yes, here you can see a man holding the weapon and sitting on the animal. So how they used to hunt and how they used to go in gather. So sorry, how they used to go in group. Yes, like this. So these paintings narrates the story of that era. And also history means what? History is recorded, that is written records of the past events. So written records in the sense that when the writing was invented, so they didn't use the alphabets A, B, C, D, what the English letters we use. Yes, they used characters and symbols for writing purpose. So that also you can see in the picture, page number 2. So different characters, symbols, so they used for writing. So these can't be understood by the common man, present man. So this has to be decoded and then it is given in the books and all. So why we studied what is history now. Yes, what is history, prehistory. So what is the purpose of knowing the history? What is the purpose? Why we have to study history? So because it educates us. In what way it educates us? So it educates us like to learn from mistakes made in the past. So the mistakes, whatever was made in the past, do we repeat it the same way? No, isn't it? So the past, we have to remember the past because not to come over the same kind of mistakes. And it also tells us who are our ancestors and how they live. So these things, the history tells us. By studying history, we get to know more about the culture, different people, and the societies, isn't it? So, is there only one culture in India? No. So we come across different culture, different languages, dressing styles. It may be food habits, isn't it? So there are different cultures and traditions in India. So that is why it is called as diversity, isn't it? Our country, India, is called as unity in diversity because there is different culture, languages where it is in one place. And by studying this history, we get to know more about the culture. Like as I told you, when the human evolution started from hominids to Homo sapiens, like that, they were surviving near the river valleys, isn't it? So gradually, as the climatic change, they spread over all the continents and few came settled in India. So like that, from different places, different people came to India and settled here, and thereby they carried their culture. So that is how the culture was introduced. Yes. And also the past. So we can, and also the lives of leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther, so Nelson Mandela, so many great leaders. So the history tells us about the great leaders' lives also, how they led. Yes, how we got Independence Day, how we got independence from British, all because of the that is great leaders like Lal Bahadur Shastri, Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So like these great leaders, because of them we got freedom, isn't it? So or else, and their about their life also, it has been that is biographies are there. So that is how we came to know about them also. So the past, okay, fine. So the past we have to study because to know who our ancestors were and how we came. Yes, gradually. So these things, what we are today didn't happen, just happened, isn't it? So it took very long time, millions of years to change. Yes, how these change, the steps or the stages, how many that is each civilization. So each civilization was formed and how they changed, we'll study here. So the past is also measured in, the past is measured in BC and AD we studied, isn't it? So the past is measured in BC and AD. So that is, it is said that the birth of Christ is taken as the reference point. Yes, to measure the years. So the past is measured in BC and AD. And as I told you, the birth of Christ, Jesus Christ, birth of Jesus Christ is taken as the reference point. The reference point. So before the birth of Christ, it is, the past is measured in BC, that is before Christ. Before Christ, or it can be called as BC, that is before Common Era. Yes, and AD. AD means what? Anno Domini, you all know, right? Anno Domini, so which means in the year, of our Lord. In the year of our Lord means after the Christ birth. So it is also called as CE, that is Common Era. So BC is also called as BCE, that is before Christ era, or that is not Christ, so before Common Era. Fine. And here AD means Anno Domini, which means in the year of our Lord. That means after the birth of the Christ, which can also be called as CE, that is Common Era. So these are the two methods where years were measured. And also one more that is circa is another important term used in dating events. So that is circa. Circa means what? Approximately. Approximately. So you will write it as like the C dot. So where the dates are not known exactly. Yes, where the exact dates are not known, that time we use circa. So C dot 120,250 AD, like this. So approximate. Yes. So and also when we take the timeline, if this is the birth of the Christ, so here the BC is measured backwards. BC and AD. So suppose it is 1 CE. Okay, here it is 100 BC, 200 BC, like this. BC is read backwards, and here ADs are read forward. And again, apart from the dates, so 1947, we had taken the example of 1947. This is read as what? BC or AD. So it is AD, after the birth of Christ, isn't it? So now sources of history. So how many sources of histories are there? There are two sources, that is archaeological sources and literary sources. Isn't it? Archaeological sources means what? During the prehistory time. So literary sources mean the written records. Yes. So the archaeology means what? It is a scientific study of the past based on its physical remains. So where there is no written records at that time, the remains of buildings, it may be, or the caves, paintings, so these things, and as I told you, during the prehistory time, they used to communicate through sign language and drawings, isn't it? So and also the objects, when they buried the body, so at that time they used to keep the objects near that dead body, and that is how when the archaeologists excavated, yes, excavates the archaeological sites, they got the remains of the dead bodies along with the objects they had buried. Yes, depending on that, they will do research and they'll tell during which era. So these humans or these early humans exist, like this. So what kind of things they were using, the ornaments, it may be, the weapons, it may be, yes, like this. So for that, archaeological at work at a site. So page number 3 also you have got a picture. See, they'll mark the archaeological sites and then they will dig the that is the ground. So if they get something, the remains of the humans or the dead animals or the plants along with the objects or that is the ornaments what they were wearing, so they'll collect from that sites and they will do research on it in order to reconstruct history. So archaeology means what? It is all about the remains of buildings, pottery, jewelry of the earliest history of people. Archaeological sources means this thing. So archaeology means it is the study of the remains of human life in the past. So archaeologist means what? So the people who excavate places where ancient people lived. Yes, they collect and examine the objects. That is the human objects like what? Tools, weapons, toys, pottery, etc. So such human-made objects found at archaeological sites are called as artifacts. So artifacts are nothing but the objects. Objects got near the archaeological site, like it may be weapons or the jewelry or pottery, what they used for cooking. So like this. So these are the objects what they get in the archaeological sites are called as artifacts. Apart from this, the coins, that is the monuments and burial sites. So burial sites also, they used to bury the dead body with the ornaments. So whatever the belongings that belong to that person, so they used to keep next to that person and they used to bury it. So when the when the archaeological people excavated, so they found the object along with the fossil of the humans. So by that they'll do research and they'll come to a conclusion. So archaeological objects could include tools, weapons, pottery, jewelry, many things. So these are the only sources of information about history or prehistory. Yes, the archaeological objects, what they get from the archaeological sites are what tells about the history or the prehistory time. So it tells about the prehistory where there are no written record. So apart from this, the coins, yes, coins, fossils of animal, humans, so monuments, so like this. So coins and seals are valuable sources of information. So what they tell is the picture on the coin. So first, before coins were introduced, what the humans used to do, so they used to sell the things, whatever the crops or the things, whatever they grow. So suppose if they want to buy something else, so they used to give something in return for that. So like that they used to survive. So, but later on the metals, so that is the copper pieces of coins. So the metals are made of, that is the coins made of metals like copper, gold, silver. So these were used as coins. So for that, the pictures were engraved on coins. So the pictures tells us, so what they tells us, that gives us the information about that period. So the rulers, the picture may be of the face of the ruler or the day during that his or her period. Yes, and also the goddesses they worship at that period. So these many, it may be the animal symbol or the that is the instrument symbol. So it may be anything. So the pictures tells the information about that period, and also about the years of their regain and the extent of their kingdoms also sometimes. So the study of coins is called as what? Numismatics. The study of coins is called numismatics. Numismatics. Apart from that, the burial sites are also found. So where the objects unearthed from burial sites are a rich information about the beliefs of that period. So each different groups follow different kind of that is culture of it may be burying or the festivals or the worshipping. Maybe they didn't worship only one god, so they worship different gods. Yes, at that time they used to bury the that is many objects have got from the burial sites also, which gives us a valuable information. So fossils means what? The remains of the dead plant or animals or the human beings. So are also important archaeological sources. So they are the remnants of humans, animals or plants that have become embedded in rocks. Yes, and ice over many centuries. It is said that the many scientists have found that is the fossils of sea animals on the Himalayas. So by this they have concluded that the Himalayas at one time Himalayas were also under the sea, under the ocean. Yes. So they have found many sea animals fossils on the Himalayas. So like this, over many centuries, under the rocks, when the volcanic eruptions happened, earthquake and continental drifts, so these things happened. Many animals were buried under the they were unearthed. So between the rocks maybe, or the plants fossils, animals fossils, so whatever died at that time, many fossils, the remnants were found, and that is how they will excavate. They will do research on those fossils. So what do they like? How it is helpful for us? So it helps us to understand how living beings evolve. Yes, and change over time. So the image, what is shown in your textbook, so that is a skeleton. Some skeleton is shown here. See this, along with the skeleton, they have kept the, that is weapon also, what kind of weapons they used. Yes, shows a human fossil from around 60,000 years ago. The fossils were unearthed. Apart from it, so during the early humans, so these kind of vessels, they were potteries they were making. So potteries, and also the carved earrings they used to carve from the stones, so or the metals whatever they get, so these things. And later on, gradually, so millions of years after millions of years, so the monuments, so like this, they learn from they learn to show the behavior of the human habits, present human habits. So they didn't live like early humans only. So they were too small when they evolved. Yes, stage by stage, they changed into Homo sapiens. So how the humans look like now. Yes, so, and they discovered fire, and invented wheels. So these things we'll study in the further chapters. And also the monuments. So monuments, what do they tell about? They tell about the ruling, that is the rulers, kingdom. So the Mughals, one of the beautiful Mughal architecture is the Taj Mahal, isn't it? And also Sanchi Stupa is the Hindu architecture. Yes, Sanchi Stupa and the Meenakshi temple. So these tells about the Hindu architecture, and the Mughal architecture tells about the Fatehpur Sikri and Taj Mahal. So these things. So monuments are human-made structures of historical importance. So they tell us about they were built in the memory of a person. Yes, forts, palaces, temples, and tombs are examples of monuments. By studying the materials they were built of, that is what we'll get studying these monuments, about the monuments or the structures, the pillars. So we will get to know about the past. That is how was the life of the rulers. So from which date to till what date they survived, and how they ruled, how their administration was like, how they were leading their life. Yes, how they built the kingdom. So these many information we'll get through these monuments. Yes, and also the inscriptions found on the pillars. Yes, and the paintings, and also paintings on this in the monuments or the stupas. So tells us about the stories of the rulers. So these were about the artifacts. Yes, archaeological sources. So archaeological sources are important because why are they important? Because for reconstructing the past. So where written sources are not available. Archaeological sources means during the prehistory time. So they are helpful for verifying data found in written records. So apart from the archaeological sources, we have got the literary sources. So literary sources means what? Which includes all the written works of that provide information about the past. So literary sources means written records. Written records means it may be, for example, biographies, that is autobiography. So these many, so the chants or the songs of God. So these all tells about the literary works of the past. So how? So the inscriptions, once the early humans started that is the period the writing was invented, they used to communicate through signs language and drawings, isn't it? When the writing was invented, they used characters and symbols. Yes, like inscriptions and manuscripts are the earliest examples of handwritten records. They used to inscribe. Inscribe means writings or writings engraved on hard surfaces like stones, pillars, rocks. On like suppose if they build a monument, they used to engrave there. Yes, about the ruler or about the administration or about the ruling life of that ruler, they used to inscribe, that is engrave on the hard surface, such as stones, pillars, copper sheets and caves. So the study of inscription is known as what? Epigraphy. So the study of inscription is known as epigraphy, and the study of coins is known as numismatics. So inscription means the writings engraved on hard surface. So and manuscript means what? So manuscripts means handwritten text or documents. Handwritten text or The handwritten text or documents are called as manuscript. So where they used to write these, that is very way on what they used to write. So they used to write on the bark of trees or the palm leaves. When the writing was introduced, so they used to write on palm leaves or the bark of trees, or they used to write it on the dried animal skin. So after killing the animal, they used to clean the skin and they used to dry it up. Later on, they used to write on the that is the dried animal skin. Yes, and also I had told you with what they used to write, that is an instrument or the pointed thing called as the stylus. Yes. So they used to write with the sharp pointed metal, it may be a metal piece or the bone. So they used to write with this stylus or that is during the early humans. During the early humans, they used to use the stylus for that is draw paintings on the caves. Yes, where the paintings narrate the stories of their living. And also they used to the picture above. So in page number 5, the picture shows here 2 pictures are there. So one is the manuscripts on the palm leaf they have written. Yes, the scripts are written, and here on the pillar they have engraved. Yes, inscription and manuscript are both are shown on here in this picture, and also the manuscripts, that is handwritten texts, are not in the form of letters. So again they used different characters and symbols to write, and also the picture, they used to draw pictures where it tells the stories. Yes, and this inscription, see the characters are different. The characters or the symbols what they have engraved on this pillar, no, it is totally different, where we cannot read or we can't understand even a single word. Yes, so these are decoded and then it is given and then it is written in the books. So these two comes under the literary sources. So literary sources are of 2 main things. Yes, the religious literature and the secular literature. Religious means what? So the religious text of it may be Hindus, Muslims, Jainism, maybe any religion, about any religion. Yes, the how the life of that period lived, like social, political, or economical things. Like example, the 2 epics of India. So what are the 2 epics? That is Mahabharata and Ramayana, isn't it? So there's best examples for religious literature. So what they tells us about the social, economical, and political life of that period. Yes. And the secular literature is nothing. They are not about the religious. Like examples of biographies and autobiographies of some person. So secular literature includes all writing texts that are non-religious in nature. So it may be poems, stories, like this. So apart from this religious text and the secular text, the traveler's account. So that is the writings of travelers were also important. So many travelers came to India during the Gupta period or the Mauryan period. Yes, and they have also left the their point of view in the books, like that is Megasthenes, a Greek ambassador, wrote a book called Indica. Yes, during the whose period he wrote, that is the Chandragupta Maurya. That is who? Megasthenes, a Greek ambassador, wrote a book called Indica during whose court? That is Mauryan court. So he came from Greek and during the Mauryan, that is Chandragupta Maurya period, he wrote a book on that is his ruling, that is the administration part. So how the Mauryan, the Chandragupta Maurya ruled during his period, he has written in the book called Indica. Like this, there are two more, that is Chinese travelers, yes, called Fa Hien and Yun Sang. So these two are the Chinese travelers. These are the two Chinese travelers came to study that is about Buddhism. So during whose reign during the Harshavardhana and the Gupta period. So during the Gupta period, these two Chinese travelers came to India to study Buddhism, but they have also left the that is their view point during these two kings. So they have written a book like a Great Tang Records on the Western region. So in that book, they have narrated the administrative maybe or the about the ruling maybe about the Gupta period. The Jatakas, so composed by different authors over a long time. So the Jataka tales tells us about the childhood life story of Buddha. So the Jataka tells us about the childhood stories of Buddha. So and also we can see the paintings in Ajanta caves. Yes, Ajanta and Ellora. Ajanta caves you can find the childhood paintings of Buddha, and in Ellora caves you can find the Kailasa temple. So Kailasa, big Kailasa temple, yes. So these things, what all, and also the Rajatarangini. So the book called Rajatarangini tells us about the story of Kashmir. Yes, and Arthashastra. So tells us about the laws or order, about the social, political or the religious life of that period. And Panchatantra, that is the fables. So stories, they give us the values of different cultures, or they give us the morals, isn't it? Moral values of ancient India. So apart from that, so sources of history. So apart from these things, the archaeological sources and also the literary sources, so there is oral tradition. So oral tradition means what? Which have been passed from generation to generation, the information or the cultural knowledge that have been passed from generation to generation through speech is called as oral tradition. So for example, chants, poems, god songs, so Vedas, Puranas, so these things and all have come through the oral tradition, isn't it? Apart from the sources, that is the ancient sources, so the geography, the Indian geography has also influenced the history. So how, like as I told you, the Himalayas in the north, yes, the Himalayas in the north acts as a barrier for the invaders. Invaders in the sense attacking India. Yes, and also the long coastal line. So the South India is called as what? Southern Peninsula. So why? Because this three sides it has got water. So it is called as that is Peninsula of India, isn't it? So these coastal lines have helped the people of India to that is to enjoy trading with many other countries. We all know that how the sea route to India was explored, isn't it? A Portuguese sailor called Vasco da Gama, he explored the sea route to India through African continent. He didn't come through the land, isn't it? So why? Because the Arabs were controlling the trading thing by putting more tax on the goods and services. So they didn't want to avoid that tax. So they found the sea route to India. Yes, through the African continent. And also many powerful kingdoms also emerged in the Deccan Plateau region and also the northern plains, the fertile. Since the land was fertile, it helped in agricultural purpose, farming and all, isn't it? So like this, the geography of India has also shaped our history, we can say. So this was about the chapter, first chapter, when, where and how. Read the lesson. This is the homework for you all. Homework. Read the lesson, that is when, where and how. So history, first lesson. And now let us do the exercise part. Open your textbook, keep pencil, don't write in pen in textbooks. Hope you all have understood the first chapter. Yes, first only I had explained you. Again, today was the revision. So page number 8. Fill in the blanks. The word history is derived from the Greek word historia. So since many of them don't have textbook, I am going to write the fill up on the board. Those who have textbook, write only the answers. Yes, read the question and write the answers. Those who don't have textbook, take your homework book and write the fill in the blanks in the homework itself. So first main, fill in the blanks. The word history is derived from the Greek word dash, that is historia. Second one, the word sepka is used when the exact date of an event is not known. Third one, epigraphy is the study of inscription. Epigraphy is the study of inscription. So fourth one, edict are proclamation or order or commands made by rulers that are engraved. That are engraved on rock pillars. Yes. Fifth one. Dash and Dash are famous Chinese travelers who came to India to study Buddhism. Who were they? Fa Hin and Yun Sang. Are famous Chinese travelers who came to India. Last one, the Dash acts as a physical barrier protecting India from attacks from the north. So the Himalayas. So the Himalayas acted as a physical barrier protecting India. Okay, these six were the fill in the blanks. So the word history is derived from the Greek word historia. The word circa is used when the exact date of an event is not known. Epigraphy is the study of inscription. The study of coins is called as what? Numismatics. So edict are proclamation or commands made by the rulers that are engraved on rock pillars. So what they give us? They give us the values during those rulers. So, and Fa Hin and Yun Sang these are the two famous Chinese travelers who came to India during Gupta period. Yes, and the Himalayas act as a barrier protecting that is India from invaders. So this was about the fill in the blanks. So choose the correct answer. You can tick the answers. So prehistory is the study of the past before the invention of. Options are wheels, writing, coins, paints. So it is writing. Prehistory means is the study of the past before the invention of writing. So the study of coins is known as epigraphy, archaeology, numismatics, philately. So that is numismatics. So Rajatarangini deals with the ancient history of Kashmir. So tick B. Handwritten documents made on palm leaves are known as what? Are known as manuscript, inscriptions, morals, and excavations. It is manuscript. So handwritten documents made on palm leaves or the bark of trees or the dried animal skin is known as manuscript. So inscription means the writings engraved on the hard surface. So Megasthenes was an ambassador to the court of Chandragupta Maurya. Tick B. And differentiation between the following, answer the following questions. So these things, I think by now you might have got the PDF format. Yes. Notes, write the notes neatly. No spelling mistake should be there. Write neatly and submit it for correction next, that is Wednesday. Fine. Homework is to read the first chapter. So civics first chapter, that is human diversity, I'll be doing it in the next class. Human diversity. We all know, I have already done the chapter, but before logging into the session, so read the chapter once. Okay. Thank you.